Just don't end up as mine.
All right, there's two key points I want to make, and then I'm going to launch into the detail.
I take my chances.
And that's this.
I die for a living in the movies and TV. But the hardest thing...
Through international treaties in 2000 is one they had in Australia. We already have a world ID, agreed upon standardization of the type of digital photo, the type of biometrics, the type of fingerprints biometrically. Through the treaty, we already have a world ID system. That's why Germany and England and Japan, when the United States makes people entering it biometrically scanned, the very same companies, the very same systems are contracted to put in those grids in other parts of the world. So this is internationally standardized. And all the things you see that individually are horrible tyranny are all openly set up by think tanks, openly rolled out and taught in the universities. Most of the big grants and the people that are getting their tuition paid for with scholarships now. The biggest growth industry isn't just law enforcement, but it's Homeland Security, data mining, and Total Information Awareness Network, and Patriot Act compliance. So this is all in the industry publications. It's a big joke to them. Everything you buy, everything you sell, everything you do, everything you believe, everywhere you surf, everything you do, as the New York Times bragged years ago, dealing with the Total Information Awareness Network, is now being integrated and tracked. So you can forget trying to hide out and not be in their system. The answer is bring the criminals to justice. Bring the bankers that are destroying the dollar and our sovereignty to justice. I'm going to cover that next hour. Now, thinking about this show for the last week, the reason I keep holding off doing it is because there is so much data. So I just want to make that point. This is full of notes on it. These are just notes out, those notes that I wrote today, trying to boil it down. Let me just go over these. This is an opting into the matrix is what's happening right now, where Google announces, oh, we have a new system we're using now for 4 years where the cameras and microphones built into all the new computers, we have a AI software listening to every word you say, what you do, watching you. If your dog's barking, then Google ads for dogs and dog food and dog toys and dog medicine and heartworm medicine pops up on screen. That was the example they used. Or if we hear you watching a particular show or see it off the computer camera, we will then advertise products that go along with that psychological algorithm, that personality type. This is announced. In fact, people won't believe it. Punch it up on screen. Google using cameras and microphones to track computer users. I think that was the Prison Planet headline. And then we've got links to Google's press release. So, I mean, they're bragging about this. And other companies are doing it. TiVo, remember the Janet Jackson wardrobe malfunction with her breasts coming out in the Super Bowl, that staged event, as staged as the Barat guy, you know, falling on Eminem at the MTV Awards. I told you that was staged. Now they admit it's staged. I mean, come on. It's all staged, folks. Quit being so gullible. TiVo came out and said, oh, we had 2.2 million rewinds and replays. And the Chicago Tribune said, but I'd always been saying, you mean that's a two-way system? You're tracking what they do? And they said, yeah. See, this is there's thousands of these examples. So you're opting into the matrix. I have another article here today that's on the front page of Xbox.com. Just go to Xbox.com, and it's Steven Spielberg running it. And I know somebody that worked high level for Microsoft in development of the Xbox. It's meant to take over your computer, your cell phone, your whole life, your identity, your friends. The outside world will be so bad you'll want to be in the simulated world. This, you scan with a camera on it, your body, your biometrics. You turn forward, sideways, and backwards. Your 360 body is now scanned. Two-way, the feds are in it. This is Microsoft is the feds, just like IBM. On record, in-game covers it. It's now declassified. We covered it 2 years ago. It's now mainstream news. But I know people high level, two different people, but one super high level in the involvement with the development of all this. And this is literally meant to mesmerize, to lower your brain waves, to put you into a trance. Television already does it, but this is to bring you to the next level. This is the opting into the matrix. Notice the kids, when you see them at the restaurants, they're not talking to their parents. They're texting. They watch 4 or 5 hours of TV a day, 2 or 3 hours of video games. They won't talk to their friends across the table. They're texting to them. They're not having language anymore. That's a major British study. about all this media. People don't have language anymore. The language is being reduced down where you can't talk to people. So we're being sucked into the matrix. The TV screen is a lens on which projects through the eyes, which are brain stems, literally windows into the soul, interfacing. And so we're being mesmerized, being sucked into the crystal ball. That's how they liken it. So people are opting into the matrix, being sucked in. 30, 40 years ago, writers talked about how you'd live in Manhattan or Houston or wherever, and you'd see high-rise buildings with people fighting and people playing pool and people gambling or people having sex or people reading or people laughing. Now you look at high-rise buildings and it's nothing but blue glow at night. No one's talking. No one's living. The TV is the life. And it's teaching you how to tattle on your neighbors. It's teaching you you're fat and inadequate. It's teaching you that cops tasering you are good and the Second Amendment's bad. It's all messages, all brainwashing, that torture is good, that vaccines are good. It's all, you're opting in, and it's made to be comfortable and funny and goofy and your choices and your favorites. This is the control system. Let me see, I've covered point 1 of all these pages. Will we ever get to it? So you're opting into the matrix, but are you really opting in? It's kind of like you opt in to go down to the river's edge to drink some water as a primitive man, and a big crocodile grabs you and drags you in and eats you. You opted in to go get water that looked good. You didn't see those 2 eyes right there. I'm telling you, there's crocodiles down there. I'm telling you, out here in the hill country, if you buy a house in the country, watch out for rattlesnakes. The realtors won't tell you about it. That's what I do. I warn my fellow humans because I have a tribal love of humanity. But see, the marketers, they love the fact that they're lying there in the water's edge with just their eyes and the tip of their nose popped up. So you think you're going into something fun. This is a scientific Pentagon assault on you and your family. So the control grid is a technological enslavement paradigm. And it's all standardized, all controlled, always being honed, being implemented in phases. This is all stated by Internet 2 and RAND Corporation documents and MIT. They're all on record bragging about it. They're on power trips. There's these arrogant technocrats and there's psychologists, psychiatrists, controllers above them, and then the elites who make the decisions, who are very proud of how dumb the public is and how they've dumbed the public down further and how they use every human instinct to manipulate us and every human instinct against us to control us. Now, the end game of this is to have the false culture of the television and the different niche groups they're targeting integrate and then manifest on the ground, to have the delusions, the disinformation, and the paranoia and the lies manifest in the real three-dimensional world, not the two-dimensional television. That's why they're coming ahead with every major production firm, Industrial Light and Magic, DreamWorks, the group headed up by James Cameron, to go to holograms. And now they're introducing holograms on CNN to make the unreality even more real. So they want a highly controlled mobility. Mobility by having you watch TV instead of go play basketball. Mobility instead of having you spend time reading history books to your children so you'll watch your show, they watch their show. Mobility where you've got to have all the trinkets and crap so you're in debt to buy all the little trinkets they sell and all the gadgetry which controls you further. By federal law, all the cell phones track you down to a few feet with GPS triangulators off the cell towers. By law, they can listen to you even without a warrant and even when the phone is turned off. I told you that 12 years ago. Now it's mainstream news. I just point out, don't be in denial anymore. Remember all the things I talked about? We got to just get all the hundreds of old shows, video shows, TV shows. I didn't put them on the web. Some folks are doing that, but if you've got my shows, you watched me in Austin for years, just put them on the web, folks. Because slaves today have been incrementally taught to believe this and go along with it, but if they can see somebody telling them exactly what would happen 10, 12, 13, 14 years before, that has an effect on them. They sell you the image that guns are illegal through television. This is just one example of hundreds where everything is based in Chicago, L.A., or New York. They have highly restricted gun laws. So these dramas and cop shows are based there where people go to jail for having a gun. On these cop shows, the carpet cleaner sees a gun in the New York apartment. He calls the cops. Turns out the guy's a child molester. He deserves to have his gun taken. If you're a gun owner, you're a child molester is the message. and people are always right to call the cops on people and are heroes.